Christianity has been around for 2,000 years. It's one of the world's oldest and biggest religions. But right now, it's facing a set of challenges that are, well, completely new. So today, let's dive into what those challenges are and what they could mean for the future of the faith.
And that really begs the question, right? How does an institution that was founded 2 millennia ago possibly navigate the world we live in today, the 21st century? We're talking about relevance, identity, survival, really. Okay, to really get a handle on this, think about it like this. Picture a huge, ancient cathedral, the kind made of stone, full of histories, steeped in tradition. Now, plant that cathedral right in the middle of a buzzing, modern city. It's surrounded by skyscrapers, digital billboards, a pace of life that's just on a totally different level. The thing is, the cathedral's still standing, but its whole relationship with the world outside its doors, that's been completely flipped on its head.
And look, we're not talking about some small niche group here. There are an estimated 2.4 billion Christians around the globe, making it the world's largest religion. That means whatever challenges it's facing, well, those have massive global implications. We're talking about a third of the entire planet's population.
So, to really unpack all this, let's start by looking at the world that's buzzing around that cathedral. In this first part, the world outside, we're going to focus on the external pressures of our modern age.
All right, one of the biggest forces at play out there is something called secularism. Now, this isn't about being against religion, not at all. It's more about this growing separation between religious influence and public life, things like government, schools, you name it. As society gets more secular, faith kind of shifts from being the default setting to being a very personal choice.
And you can actually see this playing out in the data. Just look at the rise of people who identify as religiously unaffiliated. Sometimes they're called the knowns. This has been a steady climb, especially in the West, and it shows a huge shift away from traditional religious labels over just the last couple of decades.
And it's not just that. Think about it. We live in a world with a huge marketplace of ideas, right? There are so many different beliefs, spiritual paths, and philosophies to choose from. For a lot of people, Christianity is no longer the automatic default. So the big challenge for the faith becomes, how do you make your voice heard and stay distinct when you're just one option among many? And then, of course, there's the massive shift in social values. You've got a lot of traditional Christian teachings on topics like marriage, gender, and personal autonomy that are, well, they're clashing with where modern society is heading. And that creates this really tough spot to be in, this constant push and pull between holding on to ancient doctrine and, engaging with the culture today.
But here's the thing. The pressures aren't just coming from the outside world. Some of the biggest and most profound challenges are actually coming from inside the walls of the cathedral itself. So, what happens when the fractures are within?
So let's step inside now. We're calling this section The House Divided, and we're going to explore some of those internal fractures that are really shaking things up. Okay, this right here points to one of the biggest fault lines in Christianity today. How do you even read the Bible? You've got one camp that takes a very literal view. The text is the direct, perfect word of God. And then you have the other side, which sees it more metaphorically, that it holds deep truths, but expressed through symbols, allegory, and within a specific historical context. And depending on where you start, you can end up in 2 completely different places on almost every single issue. It's a huge divide.
And you know what? This division often maps onto a pretty stark generational gap. If you look at the numbers, younger folks, we're talking millennials and Gen Z, they're just not engaging with organized religion in the same way their parents or grandparents did. And that, of course, raises some really big questions about who's going to be in the pews in the future.
And adding another layer of difficulty on top of all this, you've got institutional crises. There's a great quote here. Trust is the currency of any institution. Once spent, it is difficult to earn back. When you've had major scandals and leadership failures across different denominations, that currency gets spent. Public trust erodes. And earning it back? That is incredibly difficult. So you can see how all these internal fractures are basically pulling the church in completely opposite directions. Take the very role of the church itself. Is its main job to be out in the world fighting for social justice and driving change? Or is it supposed to be a sanctuary from the world, a place focused purely on spiritual salvation? I mean, those are 2 fundamentally different missions. So, okay, we've got all these pressures from the outside and all these fractures on the inside. What now? What's the path forward? That's what we'll look at in our final section. Is the choice really between adaptation or slowly becoming obsolete?
And we're already seeing a bunch of different responses popping up. You've got some communities that are going back and reinterpreting ancient texts for a modern audience. Others are doubling down on what churches have always done well, creating a real sense of community and belonging, which so many people are looking for. Then you have the embrace of new media to reach people where they are, online. And still others are putting social action and charity work right at the very center of their mission. So at the end of the day, this isn't just a simple story of decline. It's way more complicated than that. It's really a story of evolution, a messy, complex, and constant evolution. It's a faith that's wrestling with its own identity in a world that looks nothing like the one it started in.
And all of this leaves us with one big final question. When we look back at that image, that ancient cathedral surrounded by a buzzing modern city, what are we really seeing? Are we witnessing the twilight of a global faith? Or could this actually be the dawn of its next chapter? Honestly, the answer to that is going to shape our world for a long, long time to come.